All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We got Damon, we got Trace for the Real Frame of Mind reviews, and today we reviewed Mother, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Ed Harris, Javier Bardem, Michelle Pfeiffer, among, I think that's really the majority of the main cast. And boy, was it something. I remember at the end of the movie we were reeling because we just didn't have a concrete, what's the word I'm looking for? A concrete, understanding of what we just watched, maybe?
Yeah.
The movie is very, very divisive.
Divisive,
thank you.
Yeah.
And it is there's a lot of big subject matters at play.
Definitely going to be, if it hasn't already controversial, then it's going to end up being controversial.
And I'm having trouble
once more people watch it.
Oh, for sure. And we're having trouble, and probably will until a second viewing, on actually having an opinion on it. I mean, I have ideas of how I feel about certain scenes in the movie, and we're not gonna spoil anything.
Yeah.
In this review,
which is gonna be very short.
Which is gonna be hard because there's a lot of things in this movie that you have to talk about to other people to kind of I don't know, not understand, but to get the gist of what
they were going for.
Well, yeah, and why I said it could be divisive is because there's different. You could interpret it a lot of different ways. Some of the things are pretty straightforward in your face, which could be one of the negatives I have for the movie because there are themes that they're trying to go for in this movie that they play a lot, and I mean a lot. To the point of, I think there could have been a half hour or so of this movie that was cut out. But then there's points that are really, really great. So let's start off with acting. Damon, what do you think about the acting across the board?
It was good. I was really just confused at points with a lot of the acting because I was like, there were points where especially with Jennifer Lawrence's character, where she kind of seemed like a child almost, She was very childlike, and then her interactions with Michelle Pfeiffer's character were very middle school girlish at points, and I was just kind of like, this is. I'm not sure if they were trying to do this or if there's a point to this or something. Javier Bardem, as usual, was killing it.
Yeah, he did. Really
he
well
always does really well. Ed Harris was fucking cool and weird and.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
This is a small spoiler. They weren't in the movie for the entirety.
Right.
They probably exit about halfway through.
The movie was predominantly Jennifer Lawrence's character, which I think was just named Mother, in the movie. They don't give character names.
I don't think she actually
did. And then Javier Bardem's character, which was either him or the poet. That's all they called him by.
Yeah.
It was pretty much about them for most of the movie. And I agree with what you said. I think Jennifer Lawrence did a fantastic job. Most of the film follows her indirect or literally directly, and that's a good segue into the cinematography and the overall look of the film, which for the first and second half of the act of the movie, I guess, was pretty straightforward. It got a little bit confusing at times because the camera was only tracking in reverse, her following the camera, moving in towards the camera while the camera track back, or maybe a slight over the shoulder, but it was very in your face. It was very condensed, more of a tight to close up shot of her face a lot of the time.
They did a couple choker close ups even on just the eyes.
Yeah.
It was a lot of really close. There wasn't, a whole lot of long shots or even medium shots. It was very intimate.
The majority of the wide to larger shots that you would see in the film are either of the location, which is all set in their house, or
when there was a plethora of people that they had to widen the frame just to get that many people onto it.
I agree, which is a good way to segue into probably the best, most controversial part of the movie, which is about the last 45 to 30 minutes of the movie, which is pretty much why we're still reeling right now, is because it's insane. It is so insane to the point of I want to see it one more time, even if I don't know necessarily if I like the movie. I still want to see it, see if I miss things, the interpretations of how I'm feeling now, if that still translates to my second viewing, and because it was just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And I
Yeah.
can see that part alone. I mean, in our theater alone, one person walked out. I can see it really dividing art, art house film fans and, not as,
Just generally, like, educated film fans.
yeah, people who know about
delved
filmmaking.
into the art of filmmaking.
And general public, because I can honestly say 98% of the general public of moviegoers won't like this movie at all.
The people who... I'm going to shit on Michael Bay. The people who love Transformers movies are not going to love this movie. It is the opposite. Like, they will hate it. Whereas,
absolutely.
People who love this movie probably hate Transformers movies.
Yeah,
because they're garbage.
It's a very fine line, which is it's surprising to me that this is a major, it's a bigger budget film or decently budgeted film through a bigger company. Paramount, I believe, was the one who produced this, which is it's insane that either this got a major large theatrical release for a movie that of the substance, and another thing that I want to complain slightly about is the advertising on this movie. The trailers are very, very, very misleading. They play the movie off as a horror film, which it is not, or off as of one of those horror thriller hybrids, which it really is not. It is more about Aronofsky's vision on a specific particular subject, which if we give you that subject, it'll ruin things.
Which I think is the problem with the trailers, is how much can you show of that movie that doesn't give away the entire plot.
I agree.
Because we were complaining about Kingsman, which I feel like recently their trailers have been giving away the entirety of that movie. Like, I feel like I already know what's going to happen before I even walk into the theater.
Right.
Whereas this movie, I had no clue what I was getting into. And even when I, thought I knew, it pulled the rug out from under me and just totally surprised me.
100%. Yeah, and that's why I think that it's going to be a hard sell. We'll see how much money it makes after this weekend, but
I don't think it's going to make a lot. It'll probably lose a shit ton of money.
I mean, it sure wasn't too expensive to make either,
No.
but I'm sure it's not going to make as much as they anticipated with going, a little bit more of a larger release for this film. But yeah, certain people are gonna think this is a horror film going in and be sadly disappointed. Kind of like what I think happened when It Comes at Night came out. A lot of people thought that was a straight horror film. I know I went to the theater when that one came out, and there was a lot of children, or not children, but like teenagers, young adults that went in seeing that. And you could tell by reaction that they were disappointed. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with this movie. You're going to have people who know Darren Aronofsky's name say, okay, I've seen his other films. I know what I'm kind of getting into, but trust me, you don't know what you're getting into still. And then there's going to be the people think, oh, wow, that looks like an intense, fun trailer with Jennifer Lawrence in it, or horror with Jennifer Lawrence in it. So it is...
Which I don't know why they would want to go to see a horror movie with Jennifer Lawrence, since the last one was awful.
Right. So I think it's going to be a very, very divisive film, like I said before, and in this experience, I think that everybody who loves film, or even just loves Aronofsky's films, should definitely check this out. Like I said before in the beginning, I'm still reeling from it. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I want to see it one more time, but I will give a score based off of how I feel right now, and I think I'm going to give it about a 6.8 out of 10. That's how I rate my scores. Damon, what do you think?
I don't think I really want to rate it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Give us just a shot, your first impression rating, because I know that mine's going to change, especially if I see it again.
3.75 out of 5.
Okay, wow. So, anything else you want to mention about the movie? Again, we couldn't really say a whole lot because the plot is very airtight. And if we were going to dive into that, it would ruin a couple things.
Yeah, I think I really do think that it's a movie worth watching at least once. Just give it a shot. The visuals alone are breathtaking at points, so I think that's enough to get most people into the theater, or not most, but
people that like films like this, that will appreciate Aronofsky's Black Swan and and Requiem for a Dream. So, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. watch any of our old contents. We did do a review on it, so go watch that and stay tuned for more reviews to come.